Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. As always, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch the video. I really do appreciate it. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and discuss today. So before we dive into these topics, do me a big favor. If you do end up enjoying the video or finding it informative, make sure you leave it a like. And if you are new here to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button as well. The first topic we're talking about has to do with Gran Turismo 7. This is coming from the official Gran Turismo Twitter account, where they say Deep Forest Raceway returns to Gran Turismo 7 on March 4th. Those that paid attention to the starting line behind the scenes video may have discovered the colored lines actually form the Deep Forest Raceway track outline. What's your favorite memory of Deep Forest Raceway? Now, I wanted to take a moment to let everybody know about this because it seems that this is a fan favorite track that's going to be returning, and I think a lot of GT fans are certainly looking forward to that. But that's pretty much all I have for you when it comes to GT7 right now, so I'll be sure to keep you updated leading up to the launch. But now we're talking about The Last of Us Remake possibly being hinted at in a PlayStation job advertisement. So this is reading from Gaming Bolt, and they say earlier this year, leaks claimed that a ground-up remake of The Last of Us was in development at Naughty Dog, having started up with PlayStation Visual Arts as the lead studio, with Naughty Dog allegedly overseeing development. It was claimed that the project shifted gears, with the latter becoming the lead developer and the former being reduced to a support role. Unsurprisingly, there's been no official word from Sony or the developers involved about whether or not the project is real, but a new job listing might suggest that it is. A job ad posted for the contract position of technical game designer at PlayStation Studios Visual Arts on LinkedIn seems to be focused on a game that will implement existing gameplay systems into a new framework and will improve existing level scripts for interaction and engagement. The language in the listing seems to be suggesting that it pertains to a recreation of some sort for an existing game, while mention of melee and ranged combat is also worth noting. None of this is hard evidence that points to a remake of The Last of Us, of course, but it does seem to fall within that framework. Now, we don't know for sure if The Last of Us Remake is a project that's currently in development over at Naughty Dog, but it would make sense if it was. We know that Sony has a pretty significant Last of Us HBO series that's going to be releasing in the future, and it seems Sony's putting a lot of stock into that, and they're hoping it's going to do really well. It would make sense that they would want to have a remake of The Last of Us to sell alongside the release of this HBO series. But I think fans are somewhat divided. There are a lot of PlayStation fans or Last of Us fans who feel that a remake for a game like this is unnecessary. The remaster is perfectly fine and holds up well, which I can agree with. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But there are also a lot of Last of Us fans who I think really want to see what a Last of Us remake can do. Not only do they want to see how much better the visuals can be, updated for the PS5 and hopefully taking advantage of the PS5's power, but they want to see how much better the gameplay can feel with the updated mechanics and just everything that was done to the engine for The Last of Us Part 2. I can kind of understand why they would want to take on this Last of Us remake, because there probably is a lot more that they can do. I think some people are wondering if there's going to be any changes to the story, or not necessarily changes, but any content added to it that maybe was cut previously. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. We don't even know if this Last of Us remake is real, but it seems likely based off of this job listing and the persistent rumors that, yeah, I think this is something that is real. So you can let me know what you think about that. Next up, we're talking about a job listing that was discovered for the Last of Us multiplayer title that's currently in development that fans are very eager to learn more about. And this pertains to the monetization aspect of the game, which I know not a lot of people are going to be happy about. And I will admit that when it comes to Naughty Dog really kind of going in with this multiplayer title and making it a big deal, it's likely going to be some type of live service game. I really hope that they nail the monetization aspect, because this is going to be their first time, I think, really trying to do something like this. But this is a job description, or the role of a job that they're hiring for within the studio. Embark on Naughty Dog's newest adventure, the studio's first standalone multiplayer game. We're seeking to bring the same level of ambition and quality of our signature story-driven games to this unique multiplayer project, so we are looking for an experienced, creative, and collaborative monetization designer to help us build an incredible player-friendly economy. This position will have the opportunity to be highly innovative and make their mark by developing a best-in-class economy system from the ground up. So the reason why I thought this was important is because it's very clear based off of this job description that Naughty Dog is taking the monetization aspect of this multiplayer title very seriously in a way where they want to allow creative freedom for somebody to come in and maybe think of a whole new way, a brand new way of monetizing, I guess you could say, a multiplayer or live service game. And that could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing. It's very likely that they'll end up doing something with cosmetics. That's the thing we see happening now. But I think if there's one thing we've learned over the years is there has to be a good balance between giving the player enough stuff to unlock just by playing the game, and then also having stuff there that people can buy that, you know, is going to require premium currency of some kind. You can have it that way, but there has to be a good balance. And so I'm hoping that with whatever they choose to do, whoever they end up bringing on to figure this out, they end up doing it right and it doesn't end up being disastrous. But we're moving on to the next topic, which is a follow-up, a very interesting follow-up to the Bioshock rumors that we've been covering. Apparently, we have new information about the next Bioshock game, and this is coming from a much more reliable source. The last time we talked about this, it was coming from a random source online where it was 50-50, could be true, could be completely made up. But this time, the new information for the upcoming Bioshock is coming from Colin Moriarty of Sacred Symbols, and he is a relatively reliable source. He's been correct about multiple things in the past, and he makes it clear that he doesn't share information like this unless he's feeling very confident in his source. And so he says it takes place in a 1960s Antarctic city called Borealis. The game is codenamed Parkside. This is a quote. He says, "I've been told that the development team has incredible latitude to get it right. That seems and sounds right to me. Internally, the game is very secret and apparently totally locked up. Apparently, the inclination there is that they understand full well that this game will be compared to what Bioshock creator Ken Levine does. And by the way, Take-Two is also publishing Levine's next game." So this is pretty interesting. You know, we're getting a good chunk of information about the next Bioshock. And as I told you guys, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it's just going to be very interesting to find out if this is going to be a PS5 exclusive or not, because I think it's going to be a very big deal if it is. And that could work either way. If people see this new Bioshock revealed and they're like, this doesn't look very good, this isn't what we were hoping for. You know, Bioshock fans are very passionate. Somebody even said in my last video that getting this next Bioshock without Ken Levine is like getting a Souls game without Miyazaki helming it, right? So you kind of understand at that point the weight behind it. And it seems that one of the things that Colin Moriarty is letting us know here is that Take-Two Interactive, as well as the development team there that's working on Bioshock, seem to understand how important it is for them to get this right. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I said, I feel like I keep saying that over and over, but I'm eager to see this game revealed and, you know, see what the reaction to it is going to be like and learn about whether or not the rumor of it being a PS5 exclusive is true or not. But the next set of topics we're talking about pertains to the upcoming Game Awards, which I think most of us are looking forward to. The first thing I want to let you know very quickly is that one of the games that's set to be featured at the Game Awards is the Lord of the Rings Gollum. It's been quite some time since we've seen or heard anything about this game, and so I don't know how much excitement there is for it. I think that there are certainly people who are interested in it, and so, you know, if this is a game that you've been kind of following, you can look forward to getting another glimpse of it at the upcoming Game Awards. Next up, I want to talk about Geoff Keighley letting us know that Activision Blizzard will not be part of the Game Awards this year. This is after a bit of backlash when people were kind of questioning whether or not they were going to be involved with the Game Awards. We know that there's a lot of, you know, accusations and just it's a big mess with Activision over there, and they seemingly can't get their stuff together no matter how much pushback they get, no matter how much pressure is applied. And so Geoff Keighley tweets out, "Beyond its nominations, I can confirm that Activision Blizzard will not be part of this year's Game Awards." He says, "The Game Awards is a time of celebration for this industry, the biggest form of entertainment in the world. There is no place for abuse, harassment, or predatory practices in any company, or any community. I also realize that we have a big platform which can accelerate and inspire change. We are committed to that, but we all need to work together to build a better place and more inclusive environment so everyone feels safe to build the world's best games. All of us are accountable to the standard. Incredible games and the talented developers who build them are who we want to celebrate. See you on Thursday. All in all, I think that this is the right move. I think it's a good move, and I think that it will benefit the Game Awards by not having Activision there. Activision is being unbelievably stubborn, and you need to continue to see things like this happen to apply even more pressure. But moving on to something a little bit more positive regarding the Game Awards, there's two things here that I find very interesting. The first is that Geoff Keighley is making it known that over half of the Game Awards will be new game announcements, and I think that we're just continuing to see this doubling or even tripling down of having new announcements at the Game Awards. I think Geoff Keighley has become very cognizant of the fact that most people who are tuning in, frankly, are not doing so for the awards. They're doing so for the announcements, and he wants his show to grow, obviously, and have more appeal. And what better way to do that than to make more of the show focused on announcements? So in a behind-the-scenes podcast, Geoff Keighley reveals that over half of the Game Awards 2021 will be dedicated to new game announcements. Additionally, there will be some announcements of games scheduled to release 3 or 4 years in the future. That's very interesting. Keighley also reveals that some of the announcements were originally planned for last year's Game Awards in 2020, which we already knew about. And so, you know, this to me is fascinating when he says that there are going to be some games that are going to be announced that won't be coming out for another 3 or 4 years. You have to imagine that some of these games could be relatively significant. I mean, we saw Insomniac's Wolverine revealed, and that was a huge reveal, but that's also a title that probably won't be coming out till sometime in 2024. So I gotta say, you know, my expectations for the Game Awards, I'll talk more about them in depth tomorrow during the podcast, but I'm kind of on the fence. You know, I want to be excited. I am looking forward to whatever announcements there will be, but I don't know that I can let myself get overly hyped for it, assuming, you know, that there's going to be some megaton announcements of some kind. But the final thing here that I have to admit is really getting me on board with the Game Awards and buying into this idea that there's going to be something huge going down at the Game Awards. Now, I'm not saying that definitively. It's up in the air. There could be, could not be. Geoff Keighley posted a very interesting image that I really didn't think much of it at all when I first came across it. And the image that I'll show you right now is of two pandas. They look like baby pandas trying to seemingly climb out of their cage. Now, again, I scrolled past this and I didn't think much of it until I looked more into it, or I looked into it more deeply, and apparently this is a reference to something that happened earlier this year. Some of you may recall the Summer Game Fest event that Geoff Keighley also hosted and put on in June of this year. Building up to that event, a lot of people were thinking that Elden Ring was going to show up, and it was a big deal whether or not it was going to be there or not, because it had been almost 2 years since we saw or heard anything about Elden Ring, and it just felt like it had to happen. And people were basically saying that Geoff Keighley is in gamer jail, as they were calling it, unless he shows us Elden Ring. He will be free of his gamer jail, as they're putting it, online if he reveals Elden Ring. And it was a big deal. And back in June, he posted a very similar picture to this. It was of a panda trying to get out. It was actually a GIF, I think, of a panda trying to climb out saying, "I will break free." And at the time, everybody was like, oh, this is in regards to Elden Ring. Like, he's letting us know that he's going to get out of his gamer jail, as it were. And the only way he was going to do that is if he delivered Elden Ring. And it was a pretty obvious thing by the time Summer Game Fest rolled around that, yep, Elden Ring's going to be here at some point, and it was. And it was a very big deal, and it really made the show. He's doing this again. He's making it clear that he is in gamer jail, and the only question we have now to answer is what game, or possibly games, since there are two pandas here, is he going to bring at the Game Awards this year that's going to free him from gamer jail? Well, I'm just going to say this. There are only two games that pop into my mind when I look at this image, and I'm not even going to bother naming those games because I'm sure you already know what they are. And all I will say, and this is where I'm going to end the video, is that the implications of this image are very significant. Now, if you want me to go deeper into this, and if you're interested in hearing all the crazy thoughts that are going on in my head, I highly encourage you to tune into tomorrow's podcast episode that's going to be going live at 12 p.m. Eastern, because I certainly have a lot to talk about, but this video is already running too long. So that's going to do it for the video. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Leave it a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share it out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.